Okay guys, so this is going to be the second video for making a paint study from your collage. So for your final project, you have three parts. You have the collage, which I just made. You have the paint study, which I'm about to show you. And then just like we do normally, you're going to then use your paint study to help you make your large painting. And again, these are just sketches and preparatory work. It's not about mimicking exactly what you see. It's about using a collage to help you create a compositional structure. What I mean by compositional structure, it helps you create a foreground, a figure-ground relationship, how objects are in space without having to rack your brain or imagination if it's too hard to get ideas. And then the paint study is just to help you learn how to translate the collage into paint. So by the time you're done with the paint study, you should be ready to go on to your large painting on your last large canvas that you bought. The paint study should not be more than, I say, an hour, probably even less. You can do it pretty quickly. I've been painting for a while, but this is not about making anything perfect. It's about trying things out. So when you get to the large painting, you have some ideas already happening. So just to show you what I'm looking at is I have the collage leaned up against the wall in my studio. And so I'm going to work right here on the desk. But again, when I think I mentioned this in class, it is better sometimes to paint or draw with your canvas at a tilted arc. So like if you want to here's like a speaker. If I wanted to lean it up against that, it's always easier to work on a painting when it's not flat because it changes your perspective. So this is the setup I'm working with, but I'm just going to let you see this. It'll be easier. Here's a palette of colors I put out. Now, of course, I can use more, but I just wanted to start with the basics. Considering I have green in my background, I wanted to put down a couple different yellows, a blue, and then even a green to make lots of different greens. And also I can use a couple different reds. With the cadmium red, and then I have a magenta. But again, this is just a paint study, so you don't have to, it's not about mimicking anything. You can always change your colors when you get to the larger painting. And I expect you to change your colors, like you should change your colors. So you can already see my green from my background is way brighter than the green on my collage. I want you guys to have space to make creative choices. Again, the collage is like a support, to give you some ideas on things. Now, I have this interesting kind of newspaper foreground that's in the back of the figure. I can do whatever I want for that. I'm going to make some gray. The way I made this gray is I used the blue, the red. You can see I didn't clean my brush off, the yellow, and some white. And there's so many different marks on the newspaper. I can interpret that however I want, but because this is a paint study, I'm not going to get too tedious with making tons and tons of details. But when I move on to my larger painting, I would really encourage you folks, if you use something like this, to think of some interesting ways you can translate that into your painting. Something that I would do is I would use a black or a dark brown that I made. I would use a little brush and I would mimic the different prints of the newspaper with different patterns created by a variety of marks. That's one way. So you're just not working with these boring two solid colors. So now I'm going to start to put in my figure. And it's always helpful to use a lot of water when you're making your paint study. And again, I paint really big. So I always have a hard time with my spatial relationships. And you can wait until this dries so it doesn't, run into the red dress. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to do it. You'd use your palette knife and just build up the surface of that. I'm just using my paint to draw in what I see, and I'm not being realistic to the colors at all. And then I would put the purple hand up here, but I actually drew way too big. So I didn't plan this out enough. So I actually ran out of space to put the hand. I would encourage you not to do that because I think the hand is one of the more interesting parts. So I could put the hand down here if I wanted to and go off the page here. You can have your blue marks. My arm, the other face. So I just want you to make a quick paint study. You should do a better job than I did. Spend a little bit more time. And work out any changes that you want to make for your paint study. You can make it on your, for your large painting, you can make it on your paint study. So a little bit of work could still be done on this, obviously. And of course, you can do more than one, but I only need you to submit one. So just a reminder, your checklist is a collage, a paint study, and now you're going to look at this and look at your collage and consider how you're going to enlarge that onto your large canvas. And of course, I want you to use pattern by building up marks. I want you to use a range of colors. And I want you to have a range of sizes. So you can see my collage has large, medium, and small. Same with the painting. I mean, it's getting there. Okay, hopefully this was helpful.